Hey, I want to talk to you real quick just about wedding parties and how to actually match the wedding party. It's really frustrating for me having people come in and talk about the advice they've been given on how to match the wedding party and what the groom should be wearing for his wedding. It's really frustrating because so much of it is wrong. And this is something that I went through with my wedding. And part of the reason why I started Cardero Clothing was because of all the bad advice I was getting. And we've worked now 10 years, many wedding clients, and every day it seems like I'm talking to grooms, especially in this time of year, about what they should be wearing, what matches what, how they should dress compared to the groomsmen, compared to the bridesmaids, and all that. So I'm going to try and cover that here. I'm just going to go kind of rapid fire through a bunch of images here just to give you a rundown on it. If you have any questions afterwards, feel free to comment below, DM me, email, call, text, whatever's easier for you. Just to ask these questions. But this is a wedding party that we did a few years ago, but this is one of my favorite ones we did because this wedding party here, you can't see it, but in their suits, they all had the same kind of maroon pattern that matched their ties. So the way that we tied the groom to the groomsmen was we had them wearing the same tie, again, basically the same suit pattern in it as well, white shirt, white pocket square, everyone tied together that way. So here's a look at the wedding. So here's a look at the wedding party all put together. So this one here, they have like the pattern in the suit and the tie match the bridesmaids' dresses. So that's how the groomsmen and the bridesmaids matched. And then the groom stood out. He was completely stood out. He had a totally different color suit and he was wearing a three-piece. So that helped him stand out by a wide margin, and no one was going to question which one's the groom. I don't really know. So everyone was tied in here. We could have gone for maroon suits with the groomsmen, but that would have been a lot of maroon in this photo. So we decided to do it more in the accents. This one here, not so much the wedding party, but this was one of the COVID weddings that we did, like kind of a last minute thing. He came to us looking for something and he went with a three-piece green, and we went with a gold accent in the bow tie. And one thing a lot of people will be told at stores is tie, bow tie, they just give you something that matches. It should always complement. The bow tie and the pocket square should never be the same fabric or same color. So with the gold tie, we went with the white pocket square on that one. So another wedding party we did, this was a destination wedding. Uh, a lot of times when you're going on a destination wedding, you don't want to be too hot. So we didn't really opt for the vest with the groom in this one. And same thing with the groomsmen. A lot of these guys, like they're going to a destination wedding and he didn't want to wear the vest. So we were considering the vest for the groomsmen, but we decided to go with the pants and the shirt. One, that keeps costs down, but two, it just kept them cool in those months that they were down there in Cabo. So with this one, the groom again completely stands out and he looks great. And everyone kind of looked a really nice part there with that teal kind of look in the suit. So I'll give you a few bad examples here. These are ones that we didn't do. The rest of them I think are pretty much ones that I didn't do, just ones that I found online. But you can barely tell who the groom is, and he's kind of clashing. His suit's a little bit of a different color. I would have gone something totally different in like a gray or a charcoal, or probably not a navy, but a gray or like a light gray, mid gray charcoal. Something that stands him apart more than this, because it feels like he bought his suit custom, they rented, and they tried to get close. Don't do that. Don't try to get close. Try to stand out a little bit. So with that, like the groomsmen could have been in gray, like whether it's a light gray or more of a darker gray. That would be my recommendation for this. They did the right thing in having the groom wanting to be a different color, but overall, you should have done a little bit different in that. This one here, so the groomsmen are the ones that are more formal than the groom. The groom's in the vest. I'm sure he liked that look. It was good. Again, a picture I pulled off the internet, but the groom should always be more formal than the groomsman. So I would have flipped this. I would have had the groom in the suit and I would have had the groomsman with the vest, no jacket. Because that way, again, the groom's more formal. He stands out in a more formal way. And he has a nice suit that he's going to be wearing probably for many years after that. So I would, again, recommend that the groom is always going to be more formal. This one here, I mean, I don't mind this. Like you can tell by the background, they're in more of a sunny destination. So the tan suits work. He stands out really well. There's just some style things in here that I would recommend tweaking. Like the guy here with the tie, it's just too short. You should have the tie. The point of the tie should land where the belt is. I'm probably covering it, but this guy here, his suit is just too big. They should have sized it up or tailored it. Unless it is a rental, then you're kind of stuck with what they give you most of the time. Actually, from my experience, all the time. This one here, you should have undone the bottom button of the jacket, and same thing, just kind of too baggy, too big. So I would have gone much more of a tapered look in these, but I think they're rentals based on the fit of them. So here's a good example. He wanted to go more formal with his wedding. He's got the white tuxedo jacket. He's got the proper lapels on it. And then his groomsmen are also in tuxedos, but they went black. Perfect. He stands out. He looks different than them. They've got the black bow ties and the white pocket square. They're not matching, so that looks great as well. This one here, same thing with the suit. He's wearing the suit. Everyone else is wearing a vest. And he has a vest as well. So as the night goes on, the jacket's going to come off and he's going to look more, he's still going to look formal. So if the jacket comes off and he's not wearing a vest, then he's going to look less formal than the groomsman. So him having the vest is a nice look. His tie is also a different pattern than theirs. So again, another way to set him apart. But everything's tied in here pretty well. Again, no pun intended here. But with the vest, what I find is if you're buying them off the rack, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to fit. The vest should always be lower than the shirt. You shouldn't see the shirt poking through like you are in this one guy here. Whereas these ones here, like decent fit, the pants need to be tapered up a bit. Again, probably rentals, but try not to wear a belt underneath the vest because a lot of these are going to be poking out or like kind of pouching out a bit or pulling away because they're wearing the belt underneath the vest. So try to have your pants tapered in so they fit well without a belt. That's the kind of the general rule here with vests. But vests, like it's really hard to find vests that fit properly that are long enough. I've seen some really bad photos of guys who looks like they're wearing 2 sizes too small. So always make sure the vest is longer and passes the shirt and passes the waistband of the jacket. Another good example here for the most part, he went with more of like a velvet tuxedo with the black pants, like really good look for the groom here. The problem with the groomsmen is their tuxedos have what's called a notch lapel. So where the collar and the lapel meets, I do a peak lapel where it draws out. Theirs tucks in. So it looks like someone took a little sideways V cut out of it. That's not the look that you want to have with the tuxedo. Tuxedo should have a shawl lapel like the groom has here, which is one fabric that goes all the way around, or a peak lapel like I'm wearing here. That's what a tuxedo should be. You should never have a tuxedo that has the notch lapel in it. And unfortunately, most rental places have that. And usually if you're buying from a department store, they're going to lean more towards having a notch lapel. It's not the style you want. You always want to go with a shawl or a peak lapel. But again, just a couple little, like some of the pants are a little bit long. Even the groom's pants are too long. You should have had those hemmed up. But overall, like it's a good look with having the groom. He wanted to be black jacket. So pulling that into a different fabric looks good because it helps him stand out again. So sorry, the point to that one basically is you want the groom to stand out and you want the groom to be memorable. So if as the night goes on, more drinks are in the attendees of your wedding, you still want them to remember who the groom is. A lot of these people, sometimes they might not have met you before. I've had at my wedding, because I look so poor and I didn't get the best advice, I had people going up to my friends and going, congratulations. Like, oh, actually, I'm not the groom. Like people who never met me before. So that's something we really try to avoid to make sure that you guys look great in your outfits. For this one here, again, the groom stands out. Great. He's wearing the jacket. The guys are in the suspenders and the pants. It's a better option for the budget to have pants and shirt for the groomsmen because you don't have to worry about doing rentals. Rentals can be anywhere from like, I think it's $200 to $350 for rentals. And at that price point, you could buy something. Like you can buy pants and a shirt pretty easily. So I usually recommend if you're going to go renting, you're going to have a sloppy fit anyway, you might as well just go for something more fitted and more custom. So whether that's through us or a custom clothing company, or you're just going to a department store, then tailoring it afterwards, just make the right decision in that. If you feel like you want to go the pants and the shirt, never rent them, always buy them. Last one here we'll touch on. The only difference I see on this one is the groom has a tie rather than a bow tie. So they did the right thing of making sure that he stands out a little bit. But basically in this one, like the groomsmen, I don't really see them matching the bridesmaids in any way. And I don't think they're wearing pocket squares based on how I'm looking at this photo. But the pocket squares would have been nice to maybe have the champagne color of the bridesmaids to tie that in. Or the bow tie could have been the color of the bridesmaids' dresses. It does kind of match their bouquet, so that's acceptable. In my opinion, but that's just what I would be recommending there. And maybe different colored suits for the groomsmen, but like they all look really nice. Actually, you know what? I like the suit color for the groomsmen with the bridesmaids, but maybe the groom could be in a different color suit. But that'd be my recommendation on that. But really, when it comes down to all of this stuff, there's so much advice out there, and I just want to try and help you get the right advice so that you make the right decisions, whether you come to us or not for your wedding suit. I just want to make sure that you have the right information and give you a bit of a launching point on this, because Pinterest, Google, wherever you're going for your advice, going into stores, getting advice from salespeople, it's never the best advice because they're trained salespeople. They're trained on their products, and that's about it. They're trained to get you in their products. They probably make commission, and they're not going to give you great advice. So tie and pocket square should never match. Groomsmen should match the bridesmaid in some way. The groom should match the bride in some way, and the groom should stand out and be more formal than the groomsmen. If not the same formality, but they should be something different. But he should aim for a little bit more formality than them, which is where something like a vest comes in or a darker colored fabric. And again, any questions, DM, comment, email, text, call, whatever is easier for you. But happy to answer any of the questions that you have, because I want to make sure you look better than I did on my wedding day. I'm in a lot of the before and after photos on our social media and our website. But yeah, like, don't make the same mistakes I did. And if you have any questions, reach out.